Chi Rodriguez, the golf world swashbuckling champion, dies at 88. He won 8 PGA Tour tournaments and 2 senior majors, but it was his flair on the greens that made him one of the sport's most popular players. Chi Rodriguez, whose flamboyance on the course and passion for the game of golf transformed him into one of its most popular players through his more than 3 decades on the pro tours, has died. He was 88. His death was announced by Carmelo Javier Rio Santiago, a member of the Puerto Rican Senate and the PGA Tour. No cause of death or other details were given. And as sport played out at lush country clubs where respectful crowds idolized often bland players with comfortable roots, Rodriguez broke the mold. Growing up in a poor family in Puerto Rico, he almost died at age 4 from vitamin deficiencies. At age 7, he helped out in the sugarcane fields where his father, Juan Sr., whacked away with a machete for a few dollars a day. The boy, who would be known as Chi, also began caddying at a course that drew affluent tourists. He taught himself to play using limbs from guava trees to propel crushed tin cans into holes he had dug on baseball fields, and at age 12, he shot a 67 in the real game of golf. After playing in Puerto Rican tournaments, he joined the PGA Tour in 1960. Rodriguez was 5 feet 7 and 120 pounds or so. But he used his strong hands and wrist to get off long blow drives, and he was an outstanding wedge player, offsetting his sometimes bulky putting game. For a little man, he sure can hit. Jack Nicklaus told Sports Illustrated in 1964, relating how Rodriguez often outdistanced him off the tee on flat into the wind fairways. Rodriguez won 8 tournaments on the PGA Tour, then became one of the top players on the senior, now Champions Tour, capturing 22 events, including 2 majors, the 1986 Senior Players Championship and the 1987 Senior PGA Championship. He was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1992, and he played with a flourish seldom seen. When he made a birdie, he would cover the hole with his narrow-brimmed straw hat, then perform a toreador dance. One morning, we were playing for 5 cents a hole, he once told People magazine in recalling his long-ago games against fellow caddies. I made a 40-foot putt, but there was a tot in the hole. When he hopped out, the ball came with it. I lost the nickel. That inspired him to make sure that his ball would never again escape prematurely, or so the tale went. After draining a difficult putt, Rodriguez would also turn his putter into a simulated sword being unleashed on a bull, then wipe imaginary blood from it and place it in an invisible scabbard. Such theatricality, plus his chattering with the galleries, didn't endear him to some of his playing partners. He was fined $200 by the PGA in October 1970 after Dave Hill complained that Rodriguez distracted him during the Kaiser Open in California when he sought to amuse the spectators with a simulated attempt to bat a golf ball with a bunker rake. Rodriguez always maintained that he meant no disrespect to the game, but as he once put it, "Golf is show business. I live to make people laugh." For all his success, Rodriguez never forgot his origins, having been inspired to help others by his father's generosity to those who had even less than him. After visiting a Florida juvenile detention center to give a golf clinic, he vowed to do more. In 1979, he became a founder of the Chi Rodriguez Youth Foundation, which provides counseling, educational, and vocational training for disadvantaged students, and he contributed substantially to its funding. The Clearwater Complex in Clearwater now includes a public-private academy for students from the 4th to 8th grades. "I love kids because I never was a kid," Rodriguez once said. "I was too poor to be a kid." Juan Antonio Rodriguez Jr. was born on October 23, 1935 in Rio Piedras, one of 6 children. Beyond golf, he played baseball as a young man and called himself Chichi for the Puerto Rican professional baseball player Chichi Flores. After serving in the Army in the mid-1950s, Rodriguez became the assistant pro at the Dorado Beach Resort in Puerto Rico and received $12,000 stake from Lawrence S. Rockefeller, who developed the property to help finance his beginnings on the PGA Tour. His 8 victories included the 1964 Western Open and 1972 Byron Nelson Classic. He joined the Senior Tour in 1985 and quickly became one of its top money winners, crediting the teaching pro Bob Toski for improving his game. "Bob told me to stand taller," he said, "at least as tall as someone like me can stand. It helped my swing and it helped my putting." Rodriguez lived in his later years at the El Legado Golf Resort he built in Guayama, PR. In May 2010, masked nighttime intruders tied him along with his wife, Iwalani, and robbed them of cash and jewels valued at $500,000. Rodriguez is survived by a daughter, Donette Markram, his brothers Jesus and Julio, and his sisters Juanita, Carmen, and Mariah. His wife, a native of Hawaii, died in 2021. Rodriguez complemented his flair on the golf course with a host of wry observations, often at his own expense. On his youth, "I was poor when I was starting out. I mean, I had a room so small I couldn't even change my mind." On his persona, "I'm a hot dog pro." That's when someone in the gallery looks at his pairing sheet and says, "Here comes Joe Bologna, Sam Sausage, and Chichi Rodriguez. Let's go get a hot dog." On his putting problems, "I read the greens in Spanish, but I put in English."